What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's your boy Goblin, and hey, listen, we got a banger Q&A video today, but before I dive into that, I do want to mention a couple things. First off, I want to give a shout out to Michael Lang on Instagram. He came through, helped me out big time while I was on vacation in Florida, so shout out to him. Link to his Instagram will be in the description. Go drop him a follow, give him some love, tell him I said thanks, and without further ado, the next thing I want to mention, I totally made it sound like I was about to get into it, but get fucking clickbaited. The next thing I want to mention is, hey, listen, boys, all right? I ain't been having the best time lately. I'm going to be blunt, all right? I've been going through some shit, all right? So I appreciate all your guys' patience with the content, all right? I know I'm a filthy fucking liar when I, tell you guys my upload schedule half the time, but listen, all right? I've been going through some shit lately, so I appreciate you guys' patience and support. Welcome to all the new subscribers. Channel's been bumping lately, and it makes me incredibly happy to see. And without further ado, let's answer some really fucking old questions that I never answered. First question here from Bingham Bags. If you could smoke with one person, who would it be? That's a pretty easy choice, all right? Anthony Bourdain, for sure. Even though he's dead, I would so smoke a blunt with that guy. That guy's badass, all right? If you guys don't know who Anthony Bourdain is, go look him up. He's like a chef, but he's with the shits as fuck. He's just with that shit. He's about it. That motherfucker's talked about doing acid, all that shit. He's badass. I look up to that guy a lot. He's a cool guy. So I would definitely be down to smoke with him. That would be a very legendary experience for sure. And a banger video. Smoking a blunt with Anthony Bourdain. What a video. That would be legendary. But nevertheless, next question from Simon PHHH. How many G's you smoked total? That's not a question I'll ever be able to answer because it's exponential at this point. But I've gone through very long periods of daily smoking. I've had my breaks, of course, most notable one being when I was on probation, pretty much the entirety of 2017, except for the last month, I didn't smoke weed one time, and that sucked. But I'd say, oh God, man. Jesus fuck. Okay. All right, well, I think I don't remember exactly how many grams are in a pound. I think it's 452, 450 something off the top of my head. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's either high 440s or low 450s, 452. But for some reason, 452 sounds right. But nevertheless, I'd say in my total lifetime, I've definitely smoked over 5 pounds of weed for sure. Since I started smoking when I was 15 all the way up to now, I'm 20 now, I've definitely blown 5 pounds. No doubt in my mind. Considering the fact that I smoked a QP on 420 alone last year, yeah, I'd say 5 Ps is a pretty safe estimate. So however many grams that is, y'all can do the counting, all right? My head doesn't work that well, so I'm not going to try to count that much. The drugs have ravaged my mathematical abilities, but y'all can do the counting on that. Next question from Triple Extendo. Weirdest drug/high you've done? Okay. I don't think I've had a scenario where the only thing I could think of was, oh, this is weird. But I don't know if this necessarily answers the question, but a really weird experience I had while I was off coke fairly recently, this was a couple months ago, was there was this one girl who I was, getting some activity in with, to say the least, some physical activity in, and I was not able to finish because I was geeked off my ass and clenching my jaw the whole time, and it was kind of humiliating because I really wanted to finish, but I couldn't, and I blue-balled myself really hard, and I went home and I jacked off really hard, and it was really weird because I haven't talked to the girl since, so I don't know if we're on good terms or what. So that's kind of weird, and it's drug related. But that's really the only thing I could think of. In terms of weirdest high, I don't know if I've had any that are weird. Interesting to say the least, but not really weird. That's a question I'd have to think on more to truly answer. Next question from Angels BL13. What snacks do you crave for the most whenever you are high? That's a good question. Now, it depends, but lately, Jimmy John's all the way, all right? I know that isn't a snack, but I don't really care. I'm a big guy, all right? So that's a snack for me. Jimmy John's for sure, all right? I'll tell you guys right now, the number 5, add avocado, add mayo, bye-bye. Bye-bye. It's over with. That sandwich is the end-all, be-all. I'm telling you guys right now, If you have a Jimmy John's near you, go get the number 5, the Vito, the Italian sandwich. Number 5, add avocado, add mayo. You're going to fucking thank me. You're going to thank me. Only do it when you're stoned. But you're really honestly going to come back to this video. You're going to drop a like and you'll be like, yo, Goblin, that was sick. Thank you so much. I'm not kidding. It's like $9. Like it's fucking worth it as shit. Next question here from JD40. What was your dumbest mistake you ever made that got you caught? I remember one time in like sophomore year of high school, I think it was, I was in my room and for some reason, like, all right, so the room in my window at my old house, and I lived with my mom, didn't open, right? So I thought that if I just put some towels under my door and just hotboxed our like tiny condo that it would work. And our house was really small, right? So like if I even had weed in the house, you could smell it from my mom's room. And like our rooms were on opposite ends of the house, right? But the whole like you could walk from one end of this house to the other in like maybe like 5 seconds, you know? Like it was super tiny. But nevertheless, I remember for some reason while my mom was still awake, like I was in bed and I thought if I just put a towel under the door, she wouldn't like catch on that I'm smoking. So I went in the kitchen, I grabbed an apple. My mom was just sitting in the living room and like I thought she was just totally oblivious to what I was doing. I thought I was the slyest motherfucker ever. And I go back in my room and I pack this apple up. You know, I take the pen and I hollow it out, you know, get my rush in there, you know, get all my holes in there that I need to have, to say the least. And I pack that apple up, that good old struggle smoke. And I'm smoking and my mom barges in my room and I had like a quad, right? And back in sophomore year, a quad was a lot of kush, dude. 7 grams was some dope. Like, those were the days when I was smoking a 1 gram blunt on 3 heads and we were all faded as fuck. Like we were all bye-bye after that blunt, you know, like the good old days of smoking. And for those of you guys who are younger viewers and you're in that position with your smoking right now, appreciate it. Don't take it for granted. I wish I could go back to the days when me and the homies would get so fucking zooted off 1 blunt, but I can't. But nevertheless, my mom comes in my room, of course, smelling it, takes my quad and throws it in the garbage, like gets rid of it entirely, like I couldn't recover it. And believe me, I looked in the garbage for it. I was a little kid and I was poor, so I needed that weed. And it was gone. It was bye-bye. She got rid of my quad, and that was like my re-up for like the next like week. Like I was like, fuck, dude, that's all my kush. I worked hard for that. My Wendy's paycheck paid for that, you know? And it got me caught and it got me fucked over big time. She didn't let me have the door closed to my room for a while after that. Nevertheless, next question from Adam Basso, or Basso, I don't really know. What was the sequence of your drug experimenting / how fast it escalated? I started, all right, first thing I ever did was alcohol, and then I went on to weed, and then after that, shit just hit the fan. Like, after I started smoking weed, it like, I stayed with just weed for a while, but slowly, like, amped up how much I was smoking from, like, you know, a couple times a week to, like, every day to, like, multiple times every day until I started experimenting with harder shit. And it happened really fast, you know? I'd say, like, the majority of my progression with drugs happened within the span of 6 months, you know, from, like, just smoking weed all the way to, like, doing my hard shit. Within 6 months to a year, I had done, like, most of the drugs you've seen on this channel, you know? Yeah, shit moved really quick. Shit moved really quick. That's why I tell you guys to not do the shit I do, because I'm a fucking idiot, all right? And I made some mistakes. Nevertheless, next question from Josh Tricks. How you lose your card? I'm going to assume this is talking about my V card, and if not, then I mean, I haven't lost any other cards, dog. Like, I don't really know what other cards I have to lose. But nevertheless, I was 14, and it was the beginning of my freshman year, and my girlfriend at the time went to a different high school than me, and we would always meet up, like, at her school. I'd have my mom drive me over to her school, and I'd tell my mom, like, oh, she's performing in a play, like, I just gotta go watch her. She wasn't even in the fucking, like, choir, like, she wasn't in any of that shit, but my mom thought she was, because I told her, and I'd get dropped off at the high school, and we'd go find, like, a locker room or, like, a classroom that was unlocked after hours, and just, like, hook up in it. And one of the days we were on the 2nd story of the gym. This was a huge high school. The gym had 2 stories. And we were on the wrestling mat. It was the grossest shit ever. Worst sex I've ever had. And she was a virgin. I was a virgin. And we just made it happen. Like, it just happened there on that stank-ass wrestling mat when I was 14 years old. And let me tell you right now, it was a fond memory, and like I'm probably gonna tell my kids about that one day. Like, that's a pretty dope way to lose your V card, in my opinion. Like, on a wrestling mat at, you know, your girlfriend's high school. That's kind of cool. But like, it was also terrible, and like, it was awful. I know that I did not perform. I'm fully aware. All right, and Like, it was just, oh my god, dude. She was missionary the whole time. It was terrible. Oh my god, it was bad. But oh, fuck. Nevertheless, thank you for that question, Josh. And next question from Jojo Garza. You still kick it with your high school friends? Yeah, actually. Most of my friends that I kick it with to this day are like from high school. I don't hang out with many new motherfuckers because, like, I don't like new motherfuckers, you know? Like, I like to keep my old homies because it's just easier that way. So, yeah, I kick it with, like, I'd say the majority of the people you hear about in my stories, I'm still in contact with. Nevertheless, next question from JohnMan88. And the final question. Do you have trouble editing videos since your cognitive functions are obviously fucked? Thank you for that question, JohnMan88. And yeah, actually, luckily I don't have to do much editing because my fucking content is kind of shit. So I just get to talk over gameplay. So there's not too much editing to be done, but it takes me some time to think it through. So thank you for that question, John Man, and thank you all for the questions. If you guys want to ask more questions, go ahead and follow me on Instagram, linked in the description below, @theGBLN. Follow me on there. I do all my Q&As and get all my questions from Instagram, so keep an eye on my stories and my posts on there if you guys want to get some questions in. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.